I'm going to show you how to cover a cake board. This is a solid cake board, and I've prepared my icing and basically made sure that there are no seams. See, there's a couple of seams on the bottom here, but no seams at the top, and it's all nice and polished and smooth. My surface is corn flour, and I've made, because I'm covering a round cake board, I'm actually making it a round shape that I'm going to roll out, because it does make it a bit easier. So we simply roll our thing out. I'm also, just for the sake of it, I'm actually just also rolling on some baking paper that has been corn floured, because it just is quite handy sometimes if you've got a large piece that you can not only use your rolling pin, you can actually use your baking paper to help lift the icing. So I'm turning it around, and I'm making sure that it's a little bit slippery on baking paper, but that's okay. So just making sure that the shape is nice and even, rolled out. Don't want to end up with some map of the country. So that we can make sure it's lovely and smooth. Sometimes we might need to just put a little bit more corn flour down. Keep rolling it out. And just keep checking that the, just keep checking that the area that you want is going to be big enough. So you would just get your board and say, nope, got a bit further to go yet. So you keep measuring it out that way. It just keeps things even. And if you're lucky enough to have a really good rolling pin, that's even better. I like those ones that are non-stick. They're quite lovely to use. But I'm just using an everyday, ordinary rolling pin. Just checking again, that's still good. So I've made it, it's only probably about 3 or 4 mils thickness. And I just try and run my hand over it just to check it's smooth all around. Let's see how we're going now. That's perfect. Right, because you don't want it too big. The next thing we need to do is, I've just got a little bit of, you can use a paper towel in this case I'm just using, a little bit of clean paper towel, fresh paper towel, dab a little bit of water on it, and this water is going to effectively be our glue for our icing. So don't make it too wet, because otherwise it'll be all yucky. Dab a bit of water on. Then we can position our board there. Now, just this board has got a little bit of corn flour on it too. So you just basically come back here with your rolling pin, and I like this because you can use the baking paper to help you. Lift up your icing on your rolling pin, and then just gently place it back over your, oops, it's stretched a little bit, over your board. Now, just in picking it up, I've stretched it a little bit. Don't worry, you can actually use your rolling pin just to roll it back out to that edge where it's just a little bit, surface is just missed there. So I just roll it out a little bit, but just because it's only just a tiny little bit. And you always go from the centre out, because that way you're moving any air bubbles out. And then once you're happy with it, give it a nice rub down. We get a nice sharp knife, or even a, sorry, I didn't get my knife out earlier. So a nice sharp knife, or in this case mine's actually a bread knife, but I quite like it. And you just start and you just run gently around the edge to trim off any edge. So take that off. And again, just coming back, and I'm just gently letting my knife rest against the edge of the board to make sure it's covered the way I want. Then we can take these scraps and we can actually reuse them. So just roll them up, and I'll put them in some plastic so that they don't dry out. Wrap them in plastic. And then sometimes it's nice just to run your finger around the edge a little bit, just to tidy up any little bits that might have just been caught, like I haven't quite cut the edge of that off yet. So we'll just take that off. just tidy up any little bits, and there you have one covered cake board.